everyone and welcome back to Shri FC. I hope you all are well and you're good. Please do hit the likes and subscribe. I know it really sounds he's an idiot. He again says like subscribe, but guys, it's important sadly. So do hit the likes and do subscribe if you haven't. And first, as always, I hope you all are well and you're good. Do participate in the live chat and do put your opinion. Today we have a lot of news to discuss on Chelsea. We have got Ziyech, Conor Gallagher, Caicedo, Colwill, and big up to Anshuman Bhai people. Great channel. Do go and subscribe to United Road. Thank you, Anshuman, to be here, bro. Absolutely love the content. And thank you, bro, to be here. And do go to Sports Freak as well and do subscribe there as well. Dybala in 15 million. He's my favorite player after Messi. Ronaldinho, my Argentina GOAT. I love Dybala. Nah, man, Dybala is good. I do understand that. And I do understand your point. But Dybala is not at that level for me. And I do like Dybala. But I think Dybala, again, does he solve our goal scoring problems? I'm not really sure, Anurag Bhai, but overall, people, a lot to discuss. So do hit the likes and let's start with the first piece of news today. And the first piece of news today is this is by LSD Goals. Somebody you can say a reliable Spurs reporter, but not a Chelsea reporter. And he has said that Tottenham Hotspur really like Conor Gallagher. This is the same side who we not really like. We can't even negotiate as a club. So I really don't know, will Chelsea even try to negotiate with Tottenham because we hate it? But now the regime is different. It's Todd Bowley. So are the relations being amended? I really don't know about that. But I do know one thing for absolute sure, that Chelsea are really not left to deal with Tottenham. That has been a problem for a very long time. And Chelsea don't like dealing with Tottenham Hotspur. Thank you, bro. Really means a lot. And people do subscribe to both the channels, United Road and Sports Freak. But overall, people, Tottenham for me, interested in Conor Gallagher. See, I love Conor Gallagher as a player. I do respect Conor Gallagher as a player. And I think he's a really good guy overall, a good talent who always gives everything on the pitch. So I do absolutely respect Conor Gallagher. But again and again on this channel, I've said for a long time that technically there are some problems in Conor Gallagher which I don't really think could really improve in the future. So if we get the right amount of money, 47, 48 million, 45 million, we need to take it, even if it's from Tottenham Hotspur. Now, I really don't know where he fits in Tottenham, to be honest. Madison is coming there. Solomon is coming there. So I think this link is going to go down, to be honest. I don't think Tottenham will get him. Tottenham are going to play with Madison. Tottenham are going to play with Kulusevski. They're going to play with Son. They're going to play with Kane. And Solomon is going to be rotating. So I don't think there's any need for Tottenham to go to Conor Gallagher. And I think most probably either a Newcastle, either a West Ham, those type of teams will come for Conor Gallagher. I don't think Tottenham are really excessively interested because I think they've got a lot. So big up Eden Bhai, really good to see you, bro. Big up, bro, and thank you to join the chat. And I think overall, for me, people, I don't think Tottenham really will go for Conor Gallagher, being very honest. I don't think that it makes any sense for Tottenham to sign Conor Gallagher. They have signed Madison, they have Son, they have Solomon, they have Kulusevski, they have Richarlison, they have Kane. In attacking departments, Conor Gallagher doesn't suit. And I don't think Conor Gallagher can play in the pivot when they've got Bentancur, when they've got Oliver Skip, and Mbole, who might revive his career at Tottenham. So, being very honest, I don't think there's any chance for Tottenham to sign him. I don't think they will. I think it's just being reported to PR or something. I really don't know. But I don't think that Tottenham will really go after Conor Gallagher. But yes, if they put the right offer, I think Chelsea will really sell him. Otherwise, I think Conor Gallagher will stay at Chelsea. And he's a player who does fight for the match, who does give everything on the pitch. So I fully respect him. And I have no problem with Conor Gallagher. I respect Conor Gallagher a lot. My only problem with Conor Gallagher has always been the technicality, which I think is not really very much improvable. But I hope Pochettino does, because the guy loves Chelsea and he really gives everything on the pitch. But to be really honest, Tottenham are not really signing him. I'm being very honest here. And coming on to Christian Pulisic now, what if story could be made an Avenger movie on Christian Pulisic, because he was a talented guy. And I don't want to mention the word because it really brings bad memories. But in the lockdown period, Christian Pulisic in footballing terms was one of the best players for Chelsea. He was out of this world. He was playing football which was unimaginable. He was reminding somewhat of Eden Hazard. And big up the Chelsea Perspective. Thank you so much, bro, to join. People do go and subscribe to Chelsea Perspective. Top Chelsea channel with some great content. And I think overall, bro, I do want to know your opinion regarding Pulisic, because Christian Pulisic is leaving Chelsea and he has been a player that's, again, I will say is a what if Chelsea player. Like, it's just an Avenger movie of what if this player could have been. In lockdown, Pulisic was one of Premier League's best player, really destroying Liverpool. He was playing so well, scoring that goal against Crystal Palace, turn from the right, left boot into the net, really making a mick out of Manchester City and scoring that goal. Pulisic was absolutely in form, and then injuries and everything. That injury in the final against Arsenal, hamstring problem, and since then he has not really come back into the team. He had a great performance in the final against Real Madrid, and then Tuchel dropped him for the second leg, which he even mentioned in his book that he really was angry at Tuchel. And now at Chelsea, Frank did not give him a lot of chances in his second stint. You had in between Tuchel not really trusting him, and even between then you had no one really, like Graham Potter, not putting a lot of trust in him. And I think it's just been a story of a talented young guy who just never made it at Chelsea. The injuries, fully agreed, bro. The injuries he's had hasn't helped, and I fully agree with that. I think injuries have been a problem, and that's not allowed him to be consistent. And I think that's been the problem with Pulisic. For me, to be really honest, it's a very good deal to let him go, being very honest for both the parties. I really have no problem with Pulisic. I respect the guy a lot. A really good talent, a big person for his country, a very, very good player, a leader, and I respect him and I wish him the best. But I think Chelsea and Pulisic were not a match made in heaven, and it had to just get separated. Like, Pulisic needs chances in his career. The guy needs to up his career and play more regular football. So what's the need to sitting at Chelsea when you've got Mudryk and 80 million signing, when you've got Sterling who's going to play above you? And I think overall it always made sense for Pulisic to leave the club and Chelsea to get any money they can and recoup in other departments. For me, I will never have problem with Pulisic. He was a good guy, a good player, and a talent. But sometimes it's just not good enough for both the clubs. And he can go to AC Milan. He can really learn a lot in AC Milan. The league is a bit slower. It can help him, and he can revive his career. And he can be with Loftus-Cheek there as well. So two Chelsea players, we have more interest in watching AC Milan. And overall, I think Chelsea move on. For me, I will only say before I go to the next topic, Christian Pulisic for me is always a player I wanted to see him at number 10. I know people are going to bash me. Shway, you're an absolute idiot. You wanted to play at number 10, but he was a player I really wanted to see at number 10. I think Christian Pulisic as a number 10 would have been perfect for us, but getting Nkunku, we already have a Chukwuemeka, and we are going for more players. It never makes sense to play him at number 10 now. And I think it's the right time for Pulisic to leave Chelsea. And I will only say, thank you, Pulisic. I really love you. That important goals, I'll always respect you. But again, for me, the club is the most important thing, and it's good the club is rebuilding now. New faces, new attitude, new era, and the negativity of previous era just diminished now. It's time for a new Chelsea, Pochettino ball, Pochettino Chelsea, and it's time for a new Chelsea. I will always respect Christian Pulisic. I have no problem with him. Best of luck to him, and I still think he's a very, very good talent who can do a fantastic job for his country, fantastic job for AC Milan. He can rebuild his career and in future get a big move. But I will always say his injuries have been a massive problem. He still has been a very inconsistent player for Chelsea. And that is why I think it's better we both part ways. And I just don't see Pulisic at that ceiling where I see a player like Mudryk. I know people are going to not like me, but I see Mudryk having a more better ceiling than Pulisic. That's just my opinion. And thank you, Pulisic. I love you. And best of luck at AC Milan. And now we'll have more interest in watching AC Milan, Loftus-Cheek, Pulisic. So that's good enough. And best of luck to him. And that brings me to the next Chelsea news now. And it is regarding our young talent, Levi Colwill, who is causing like a lot of outrage in the Chelsea fans, which is not his mistake. Chelsea fans love outrage, and that's been the way it's going on. And Levi Colwill, Chelsea are set to hold a new contract talks for Levi Colwill soon. Chelsea position is he's not for sale to anyone. That's been very clear. Pochettino was also asked, and he said he wants Levi Colwill and will want to have a talk with him. And it's been a topic which has been going on since the United defeat, where Colwill posted something after Chelsea lost the match, and fans lost their mind and were angry. And at that time, I was one of them, but it was a bit too premature from me as well. And again, a good point. Mudryk showed promising signs fully, bro. Like, he was magnificent, man. Mudryk was so good. Like, I've really loved Mudryk even when he has been at Chelsea. I think people are forgetting he's a very, very young guy at a very, very young age. He still has a lot to learn, and we need to understand what's even going on in his country and everything. So it does affect you. But the guy has some talents which I think will really propel you to good heights. He has electrifying pace. He has good dribbling. He can really run past a player. It's just about coaching, and I think his ceiling will be higher than a lot of players that people can imagine. And I think if this player stays injury-free, man, he's going to be fantastic. And fully agree, Chelsea perspective, I think his case is very complicated. And I think the problem is, I think, first of all, I really believe that the outrage was a bit too much from the fans. I was one of them, but it was too much at that time. Sometimes a player posts something in celebration, and I think we lost our mind. But to be really honest, when you lose to Manchester United 4-1, you can lose a bit of your mind. And I think after that, now again, many fans are getting angry that he shoved Madueke away when he was talking about Chelsea and all that stuff. And Now he has liked the Chelsea tweet. So I think this is just getting a bit of bad level now. But I think the problem is people don't understand Colville's side as well. And Chelsea also have not been really like good reputation of treating youngsters. The problem with Chelsea has always been that we just don't treat our youngsters well. And that has been a problem as well. Tuchel, I love Tuchel. Everybody knows I'm a big admirer of Thomas Tuchel as a manager. But Thomas Tuchel really wanted Colville out, and it was Todd Bowley and the new owners who kept him at the club because Tuchel wanted Kimpembe and Tuchel did not want Colville. So that was a bit of a mistake from Tuchel's part because I love Tuchel, but Tuchel really banished him when Chelsea had Rudiger away, when Chelsea had Andres Christensen away. That was the time for you to use a young guy. And I think he just went a bit too top. Thomas Tuchel went a bit too top. He should have been backing the youngster. And Thomas Tuchel did not cover himself in good glory. And Colville already had a bad impression at Chelsea. Now I think Pochettino, a guy who is known to develop youngsters, who is known to be a good friend for youngsters, a person they can approach, I think Colville will love him. I think Poch will do everything in his hand to keep Colville. And I think Todd Bowley will have the negotiation with him and keep him. We have to remember that Chelsea and Brighton have good negotiations together. And that is a bit of thing as well. Brighton still want Colville. Chelsea want Caicedo. And this is why it's becoming a bit complicated. But people, I'm very sure, do not worry. Colville will be at Chelsea. It's just about Pochettino having a bit of talk with him. And I think it only can be a Chelsea fan base which argues between Colville is better, Badushil is better when we have two great talents. And now I am going to make a big claim. Chelsea have one of the best centre-backs in terms of future in the Premier League, the way we are building, along with the Arsenal. I think Chelsea are building something good, but these are some young guys who need the trust and the patience of the fans. Levi Colwill is young, Badiashile is young, Wesley Fofana is young, and Trevor Chalobah is young. Thiago Silva is there to guide them for 1 or 2 years. I think the future of Chelsea is very good, but that future only depends on fans backing these youngsters, the board backing these youngsters, and the manager developing these youngsters. If we can do these three things right, just like Gabriel and Saliba last year, it could be Fofana and Colwill being one of the top centre-backs in the league, but it's about backing them. Both are the fundamentals to be a great partnership. It's just about backing them and being patient with them. I think our future is very sorted. I think centre-back is one future where we have good players who are very young, but it's just about backing them and really allowing them the patience to develop and giving Poch time as well. If you straight away want Colwill to put a 10 out of 10 display or he's a failure, then it's not going to work. Before I go to the next news, people, do hit the likes. It means a lot. And do subscribe if you haven't. And do put your opinion in the comment section regarding Colwill. Do you want him to stay? Do you think he's making it a bit of more complicated? And are you a bit angry at Colwill, or you understand that the guy needs a bit more time? And big up to Anurag. I'm also a huge fan of Tuchel, but sometimes he makes mistakes, especially in transfers. Poch will keep Colwill. Fully agreed, mate. Absolutely agreed. I do think he will keep him. And Tuchel, these were the mistakes in him. And I think Colwill was one of them. And big up to Todd Bowley to keep Colwill. Like, I'm always a person that says back the manager, but it cannot go to above level. You need to back the manager, but it also has to come to understand that sometimes manager can get things wrong, and you need to have the power to overpower them. And that's where Chelsea did well. And now we have a very good future prospect of centre backs who is wanted by Liverpool, Brighton, and so many clubs in the league. And that makes me go to the next news now. That is regarding Caicedo and the saga that is just not ending right now, people. Like, we know Chelsea's number one target has been Caicedo from January to now the summer. And it was made very clear by the big Chelsea reporters that Caicedo is going to be a massive target for Chelsea. Everybody knows that Caicedo is a player Chelsea really want. And Caicedo is a player that Chelsea have been after. He's Chelsea's number one main target. So we all know that Caicedo is the number one target Chelsea want to sign and one of the main targets of the Chelsea board. He is a player we wanted in January before Enzo, but Brighton said no. And they wanted 90 million. So Chelsea moved on to Enzo, paid the release clause and got him because Chelsea did not want to be in a negotiation battle with Brighton. Now we have the Brighton people in charge of the club, Paul Stanley, Stewart. We have good relation with Brighton, and Caicedo is a player who fits our team like a glue. So I think we know from the summer from big Chelsea reporters that Caicedo is the number one target for Chelsea, and Chelsea will do anything to sign him. And to be really honest, we know the valuations is the problem because of Declan Rice going for 105 million. Brighton are right in their way that if Declan Rice can go for 105, we want 105 for Caicedo. So I think that's where the problem is. Chelsea don't want to go above 80. Brighton want 100. And I think they'll reach a compromise in the end. Because if we don't sign Colwill or we keep on dragging and let's say Arsenal lose a party, United get a new ownership and they sell some players, you could be like, there could be egg on a face when you don't sign Caicedo. So I think Chelsea board is very aware. Chelsea board also knows they need to save their face, and they cannot have a situation where they want a player from the start of the window and they're not able to get him. So I think Chelsea board will in the end get Caicedo, but how long it drags could affect the preseason. Here, as you can see by the ever reliable Fabrizio Romano, Chelsea are working on Caicedo and are not worried about other clubs. Direct talks ongoing. Feeling is Chelsea will bid once they know it will get accepted. No clarity still on the final price tag, and that is a bit of a problem. As I told you, Brighton want a bit more price tag. That is a problem. Brighton want 100 million. Chelsea want to pay 80 million, and that's where the problem is. So I think the compromise will be reached. I really believe people in 1 week will pay the 80 million plus some installments, add-ons, and I think it will be accepted. It could be like 80 million plus 20 add-ons, winning a Champions League, winning a Premier League, and all that stuff. So I think Caicedo will be joining Chelsea by next week, because after that, it could be too late. You're giving Arsenal a sniff, a chance to come back for Caicedo. You're giving United a sniff. You're giving even Liverpool a sniff to come back. So I think Chelsea need to be very careful. Chelsea need to be alert and make the signings quickly. And I think Chelsea will do that. I'm very confident Chelsea will get this deal done. When Todd Bowley, Iqbali want a player, they wanted Enzo, they got it done. They not like to hear no. And I think Todd Bowley will get this deal done with the sporting directors, and they will pay the money. And Caicedo, I believe within a week, will be a Chelsea player, and hopefully, I think we get this deal done. I think Caicedo fits our team like a glue. He really, really fits our team like a glue. I think he's a fantastic midfielder. I'm so sorry, I just got mispronounced. I think he's a fantastic midfielder who can partner Enzo Fernandez, and they can both complement each other. We all know Poch is going to play 4-2-3-1 formation, which is his preferred formation. So we know that our midfield is going to be the one who are going to be more like box-to-box midfielder, who are very tenacious, aggressive, can cover the ground all around the pitch. And Enzo and Caicedo really complement each other well. With Caicedo being there, Enzo can play a bit more attackingly, which he used to do at Argentina. But at Chelsea, he could not do that. Now, with Caicedo, Enzo can go forward and take part with the attackers. We know Enzo is such good player attackingly. Last season, in 6 months in the Premier League, he had like 6-7 long balls every game. That's one of the highest in the league. And if you back this guy, you give him time, you play him near to the attackers, he can create a lot of chances. But he needs assurance that if he's leaving his position, someone is there to tackle for him. And when the team is under transition in the counter attack, there's someone to sweep up the attacks. And I think Caicedo can do that. Caicedo is a versatile player. Caicedo can attack. Caicedo can win tackles. Caicedo can do interceptions. And I believe he can do the Kante role. And he might be a bit more better technically. But again, I think he's technically better than Kante. But in other departments, he still is far away. But in the future, with the right mentality, with the development that will come in him, but again, we need to get the deal done. Caicedo's attitude needs to be nice, and I think it will be. And I think getting Caicedo really fits our team like a glue. Enzo Caicedo really, really work as a player well. And it's not because, oh, Caicedo is a big name, so Enzo Caicedo work. It really works. It really works. As a pivot, these two guys are going to have some great understanding. They both can speak the same language. Caicedo, Enzo will really complement each other well. And it's time for Chelsea to get this deal done. I think these are two fantastic players. And if you're not able to get Caicedo, the only player for me available in the market who can work with Enzo is Tchouameni. But Real Madrid are even more difficult to negotiate than Brighton. And I think we need to get the Caicedo deal done as quickly as possible. That brings me to the next news now. So people watching, do hit the likes and do subscribe if you haven't, and do leave your opinion in the comment section below. And Poch is going to turn Chelsea into a mini. No, bro. Like, I do understand what you're saying, bro, but I think we are going to sign some experienced players, because if you don't sign some experienced player, bro, I think that could be a bit of problem. Not much, but a bit of problem. And now I'll come to the next news. This is regarding the captain, the leader, the legend, John Terry, back at Chelsea in a youth coach capacity. And guys, this is a very, very good news. You need a person like John Terry guiding the academy, building leaders, building the confidence. And I'm so happy to see John back at Chelsea. We know he went to Leicester City as an assistant manager when they were in relegation battle. And sadly, Leicester got relegated. And he's now again back at Chelsea. So good to see. John as a person guiding the youngsters, building the mentality to fight is very important. And it's good to see John back at Chelsea. So here, as you can see, John Terry has revealed he's back at Chelsea and he will work with the academy. This is good news, guys. We need leadership to be built. And what a better human being than John Terry to build the character in them. One of the best captain in the Premier League. And that brings me to the next news, more football-related news for Chelsea on the field. And this is Pochettino. This is for Manchester City fan as well, bro. So Pochettino has said, I repeat, we can win, we can compete and try to beat this amazing team, Manchester City and Liverpool and different clubs. People who want to see the whole press conference can go and watch on Chelsea FC. And overall, you can see my video on Pochettino press conference. I had a lot to discuss, and I was so impressed with Pochettino, guys. He is so good, man. I've been telling you for a long time in the Chelsea community that Pochettino is the guy we need to go after. Leave this Enriquez, leave this aside. The guy is the best manager to manage Chelsea. And people are not agreed with me, but I've been telling you for a long time this is the best guy to manage us. And people, I'll again and again say to you, I'll again and again say, back Poch, give him some time, and the guy is going to do some wonders at Chelsea. And I think he made a very, very good point here. I repeat, we can win, we can compete and try to beat this amazing team. But he said in later in the conference that we need to believe we can beat them. There has to be a belief, and it's my coaching team that has to make that belief in them, and that was good to hear. For me, competing with Manchester City next season is near to impossible, being very honest. I think we are very far away from Manchester City, guys, so that is not possible. But what is really possible is I think we can lay the groundwork to compete with Manchester City in 1 or 2 years, and I think Poch is the best person to build that. His press conference was electric. He said everything right you want to hear from a manager. He was absolutely spot on in the whole press conference. Charisma, personality, really connecting with the fans, saying the right things, and especially saying the right things as a Chelsea fan you want to hear. No excuses and only up to the work. Guys, that is the thing you want to hear from a manager. That is the way he needs to speak. Now, I'm not a person who's going to come here and say he's a top manager because of press conference. No, we all know press conferences are not a way to really like make an assessment on a manager. But I'll always say one thing: that's a very, very good start. And I think Pochettino overall in his Chelsea career has made a very good start with that press conference, because that was a fantastic press conference. It was a fantastic press conference, and most of the things he said were absolutely spot on. That brings me to the next news now. Chelsea are not negotiating with any other club for Santos. Director thinks he's a future, and Pochettino wants to see him in the preseason. So we know Andre Santos is one of the talented young guys Chelsea have got now. We signed him, a very good young talent, and everybody thinks that we have signed this young talent for a very cheap price, and he's a future of the Chelsea. I've seen him in some games and some youth games, you can say under 21s, and he is a top young talent. But again, he is a top young talent. For the young talents, we need to give them time, patience, nurturing to develop. We can't put the pressure on a kid to straight away put 8 out of 10 display every day in the Premier League, in one of the top leagues in the world. And I think Pochettino is the best manager to build that. And if we can sign Caicedo, the pressure on these youngsters will be very less. And I think they can do a very, very good job for Chelsea, guys. I'm being very, very honest. And as you can hear from Fabrizio here, Chelsea are not negotiating with any other club for Santos. And as I've said, Pochettino wants to see him in the preseason. Director think he's the future of the club. So I think that is sorted, and he's not going anywhere. So guys, this is very, very good to hear. And big up, bro. Absolutely big up. Thank you to join the chat, mate. It really, really means a lot. And Chelsea for me will keep Andre Santos. And I think Caicedo for me will go on a loan move probably. And Andre Santos, Chukwuemeka, you've got Enzo, you've got Caicedo. That's going to be more like a proper Chelsea midfield with Conor Gallagher as well. That's going to be the Chelsea midfield for me next season. And I think Andre Santos is a very, very good talent with players like Medrick, Meduke. We have got some good young talent, but the fans need to have the patience to let them develop and let them grow as players. And that brings me to the next Chelsea news. And this is all about Argentina. Now, I really don't know how reliable this is, people. So I'm going to say this, and heard a lot of things from Anurag Bhai. I was listening you carefully for the last 5 minutes. Wondered. Thank you so much, bro. Thank you so much, bro. Means a lot. And Anurag Bhai, people do go to Sports Freak and subscribe. Anurag Bhai is a fantastic creator. Thank you so much, bro. All the support means a lot. And hopefully with your likes, shares, subscribes, and hopefully your wishes, I keep on growing. So coming out of this news, people, being very honest, I really don't know how reliable this reporter is. So I cannot say anything about that. But this is very clear that Chelsea are asking more and more information about Paulo Dybala. Pochettino is a huge admirer of him. The sirens are getting intense, and the English club are consequently evaluating triggering the release clause, which will be about 10 million for them. Guys, being very, very honest, being very, very honest with you, we have seen Pochettino wanting Lautaro Martinez and more like Paulo Dybala. So I think this link is somewhat complete, because I think Pochettino wants to play with a 2-striker system. I won't be surprised if he sends Cucurella and one more striker, and Jackson and Broha not starting first game of the season. I think that is what Poch is trying to do, and I think Dybala really suits a two-striker system. So I do understand why he's trying to sign a Dybala, because Dybala can be a very clever player. He can make the right runs, but the only concern I have regarding Dybala and the whole Chelsea attack is, again, we are signing a player who can't guarantee you goals. I think we already have a lot of players in the mold of Paulo Dybala, and Cuckoo is there. I still believe Nicolas Jackson can do that role. And if you sign Paulo Dybala, then how will Jackson feel? So I think that's the thing you have to see. But when you see the price tag, 10 million, I think sometimes you feel it's a no-brainer. There's literally no chance of it failing because it's just 10 million. So I think that's a bit of problem for me. I'm not understanding in this regards, because I think Chelsea, if Chelsea want a striker, they need to sign a striker who is going to give me 20 goals, guaranteed 20 goals. I think that is a striker I think Chelsea need to go and sign. A player that guarantees me I'm going to score 20 goals for you, 25 goals for you. That is the type of striker I think Chelsea should sign. Signing Paulo Dybala when you've already got Nkunku, you have Nicolas Jackson, you have Broha, it really doesn't make a sense. What message does it send to Nicolas Jackson? We signed you to stockpile you. We signed you so we can sell you for big money in the future. Nah, that is not good. Until Poch has some plan for Paulo Dybala, I really don't know why we are going after him. But the price is really cheap, people. And so is Colwill, the future John Terry. I'm not going to say that, bro, because John was one of the greatest defenders and the captains I've seen. So I think, being very honest, I'm not going to say that. But I think Colwill can be a very good player for us. But it's just about backing him, Colwill having the right mentality, and for the fans in the club backing him. But I think that's the problem with Chelsea, because we have been too much used to success. I think fans want, with no European fixture next season, they want minimum top four. And I think that is asking for too much, people. I really believe that's asking for too much, people. If we get it, I think really good enough. But the under 25 side we are building, they need experience, they need patience, and there are going to be moments in the season where they lose badly, they collapse. So that is the thing we need to be very careful, people. And coming on to the next Chelsea news, Chelsea are working on offensive players behind the scene. And I think we know with the Paulo Dybala links, Chelsea really want to sign Paulo Dybala. Chelsea are really after more offensive players. We all know that. But again, to be really honest, we have a lot of abundance of offensive players right now. And for me, only offensive player Chelsea need to sign is a player that guarantees us 25 goals. I think there's no need for Chelsea to sign offensive players anymore, because I think we have so many stockpile players that I think we need to stop at some stage, guys. I really want to say we need to stop at some stage. Mudryk, Madueke, Raheem Sterling, and Nkunku, Nicolas Jackson, Armando Broha. We have Gallagher can play there. Chukwuemeka can play there. We have abundance of attacking players, and I think Chelsea need to stop with this. I really say Chelsea need to stop with this. We either sign a striker who scores 25 goals a season and Broha and Jackson can develop, fair enough. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense to go for more offensive players. And if not 25 goals, who can give you 15 goals? I think that's another problem, bro, because I really, being very honest, I can only see Nkunku and Sterling being the guys who can give us 15 goals. Other than that, Madueke is a young guy. I don't want to put the pressure on the young guy to give us 15 goals. Mudryk is a very raw guy, very young, very raw, very talented. And I think Mudryk should have no pressure to score 15 goals next season. I think he's still a guy under development. I think Raheem Sterling, I see Nkunku. I think these are the two guys who can score us 10 goals next season. And this is why either we sign a striker who is going to give us 20 goals next season, or we just sign Caicedo, another midfielder, and a goalkeeper. Because I think there's no point in signing more youngsters when we already have abundance of youngsters. People are forgetting Diego Moreira, Candre Paez. How many young players can we keep piling and don't make a pathway for them? That's not going to send a good message around the world. And will Aubameyang be considered by Poch? I think I'm not fully sure. I think he is going to leave. I think that's very clear. I think, to be really honest, there's no news regarding Oba. It was coming 2 weeks back that Saudi are interested, but since then the no news has come. I've not even seen him on the training photo, so I don't know he's in the training or not. And I think, let's see what Poch does. But I think, bro, for this to happen, I think it's very difficult. I don't see Poch use him. I think Aubameyang will leave. And I think Aubameyang will leave for some Saudi club, being very, very honest. And I think that's the way it's going to go. I think Aubameyang, for me, is again a player who was signed for Thomas Tuchel. And I don't really blame Aubameyang for failure at Chelsea. I think he was signed for Thomas Tuchel. And then he was sacked within 60 minutes of Aubameyang's debut. So I think it was a disaster signing from the start and finish. And best of luck to him. And I think he will be going. And coming on to the next news, and this is regarding Hakim Ziyech move to Saudi Arabia. Now, guys, we all know that Hakim Ziyech move got collapsed 1 week back because there was a bit of problem in his medical. So when a player has a problem in medical, the club does not make the offer. And with Hakim Ziyech, there was a problem in his medical. His medical failed, and the club did not make the offer. And big up to Arjun, the city level, big up mate. Aubameyang was the best at Barca, but at Chelsea he failed to perform. He will leave and join Benzema. I think there's always a chance, but I think Real won't sign a striker in his mold. And I think being with the Barca links, I don't see Aubameyang going there, to be honest. I think Saudi will snap him, and with the wages and everything, I think that is an offer. I think nobody can refuse, to be honest. And coming on Hakim Ziyech, I think people, we all know his move collapsed. His medical failed, and Saudi club did not want to pay the wages he asked. So the move collapsed, and there were rumors of AC Milan, there were rumors of Juventus. But now we all know that AC Milan has signed Christian Pulisic, so it doesn't make sense to sign Ziyech. I think now this is a bit tricky. Will Chelsea keep him? Because right now there are no buyers, and the only people who want him are Saudi people. So I think we need to be really honest. I think the interest is revived, but I think it's up to Hakim Ziyech to accept the wages. See, any club who is signing a player whose medical has not gone well, they won't pay the wages that is agreed. So if Hakim Ziyech agrees the wages that now that will be amended, I think the move could be here we go. Otherwise, I don't really know where he goes, and Chelsea will have a big problem on their hands because I don't know Hakim Ziyech wants to stay here or not, and there could be a disgruntled player in the dressing room which you don't want, and that is a bit of a problem. And bigger to Sumesh Thakur, I believe this year, like the Frank Lampards, we should work with Kasadai and Santos and Chukwameka. We should not sign players, and fully agreed with that, mate. Like, I've been saying the same thing. Either you sign top quality or you let the youngsters develop. For me, either you sign a guaranteed player who's going to give you 30 goals or don't sign. For me, I really want to sign Caicedo, and then I want Chelsea to sign a goalkeeper, and I think that should be enough. If we can sign a top goalkeeper and sign a Caicedo, I think we are sorted for next year. People need to remember we are only playing 38 games in the league, 5-6 games in the Carabao Cups, 5-6 games in the FA Cup if we go far. So I think 45-46 games for a season, that is more than enough to finish the window with Caicedo and a goalkeeper. And I think we're good to go next season. I think either we sign top quality players or we just sign no one, being very honest. Because if we sign more and more and more youngsters, then how many players can we keep piling and not giving them chances? So this is why for me, Chelsea need to be careful with the activities, and we need to sign top quality players who straight away fit into the manager system. That is the thing I really believe. And I think, to be really honest, Hakim Ziyech, I want him to go because I think it's not good having a player who won't be happy. So I think we need to let him go, and hopefully he can go to Saudi and the move can be revived. Otherwise, Chelsea have a tough job on their hand on getting him out of the books. And again, on Hakim Ziyech, I do respect him. I admire him. I think he's a very good very good magical player. On his day, the guy can really curl the ball in. But again, you have Diego Moreira, Candre Paez, Noni Madueke, so many young guys. There's no point in keeping Ziyech and a player who won't be happier. So it's about letting him go. And the time for Ziyech, I think, in the Premier League has not been good. I think Premier League doesn't suit him. It's too much of an aggressive league. I think if he can go to Syria, he can go to a bit more slow league. I think Hakim Ziyech can really dominate there. And hopefully wishing him the best. And let's see what Chelsea can do in this regards. And coming on to the next news, this is regarding Cesar Azpilicueta sending a message to the current Chelsea players. And we all know I love Cesar. I made a video on it, and Cesar is beauty. Cesar is one of the best Chelsea players in terms of attitude, professionalism I've seen. And the guy is just a fantastic person, fantastic human being, fantastic player, and a player who every Chelsea fan will love. We call you Dave, but now we'll call you a legend, bro. And Cesar was one of the best I've seen. And I'll say him, Sir Cesar Azpilicueta. So the demand is really high. The commitment to the club and the fans every single day, even in tough moments when maybe it's easy to go through a different path, that's the moment where you have to show the personality, the soul of the club, pushing together in the same direction. I know that Chelsea will be back, and that is the thing people we needed to hear. We know that Cesar has been a player who has been at Chelsea in the success and trouble, and Cesar has always been the guy who has put in the display to get Chelsea away. And I think this is a very good message for the youngsters, and I think this is a message by a person who bleeds blue and a person who has accustomed himself to Chelsea. These are the principles Chelsea rely on. We might fail, but we'll come back. And hopefully the young players have learned from Cesar, and now they'll grow. I believe Reece James, Enzo, the next coming leaders of Chelsea, I hope they have this attitude and they improve Chelsea in the future. They listen to Pochettino, they bring the character of Chelsea back, and in 1 or 2 years, we're again back being the team we used to be. And now, going on the last news of today, this is regarding Marc Cucurella and the Tottenham links being back. We know that Newcastle have wanted Marc Cucurella for some time now. So now Newcastle could come back. But we also know that Chelsea won minimum 40 million because they paid 60 million for him to balance the book. So this is why no club is coming for him right now. Now again, Chelsea are desperate to offload Marc Cucurella, and that is not magical signs. We have Lewis Hall, Ian Martin, Ben Chilwell on the books. We have 3 left backs on the book with Marc Cucurella combining to 4 left backs. Tell me which club in Europe has 4 left backs on the book, and that is a problem with Chelsea. Martin is a talented guy. Lewis Hall is a naturally a midfielder, but really played well last season as a left back. You have got Ben Chilwell, who on his day is one of the top in the world, and then you've got Marc Cucurella, 4 left backs on the book. So this is why Chelsea are desperate to offload him. But again, we paid 60 million for him, so you have to get some money back, and I don't think any club will pay for that. For Tottenham, it's very understandable to go with him because I think with Pedro Porro, there's going to be a fullback who's going to be very attacking. So they want a fullback which can be defensive. And Ivan Perisic is not a good left back. Ben Davies I think, is finished now, and it's very understandable why they're going for Cucurella. But I think Chelsea need to be strong. You either pay us 40 million or don't get him, and this is why with Daniel Levy, the person he is, I don't think this deal is going to happen. And people, I do believe in second chances, especially for a player which came to the club in first year. I think you have to give them benefit of the doubt, the situation Chelsea were in. So I want Cucurella to be given time under Pochettino to develop, and hopefully he can return to his level back. So again, I'll say, people, I will love to give Cucurella time, but if the right offer comes in, then I think Chelsea need to accept it, especially when you've got Martin, Chilwell, Hall, but only if the right offer comes in. Otherwise, you can keep him as a player and see if you can develop, or you can sell him next season. So I think that's the way Chelsea need to go. So today, we covered a lot of Chelsea news, and on final notes before end the video, and second chances, fully agreed, mate. Fully agreed. And I think he needs to be given chance. For me, Cucurella, I don't think he's such a bad player. I think for me, he was played a bit wrong. He's attackingly bad, but defensively he can be good. And I think last year, he was under turmoil Chelsea. Now under a more proper coach, more like lower squad, I think he can do well. But again, if you ask me, my priority is to give Martin chances, Hall chances, Chilwell chances. So I think if we get the right offer, we need to sell him. But otherwise, keep him and back him. And overall, people, any goalkeeper news? Right now, there's no goalkeeping news. But the latest news that was that Chelsea are fine to keep Kepa as number 1. Pochettino wants to keep Kepa as number 1. And I think these are the news, bro, that was coming around. Because being very honest, I think Onana, for me, has rejected Chelsea. Being very honest, he wants to unite with Ten Hag. Diego Costa is going to cost you around 50, 60 or even 70 million. And I think Chelsea know signing a goalkeeper in this market is not possible. I think we are going to keep Kepa Arrizabalaga. Is going to be Gabriel Solina. And I think these two are going to be the goalkeepers next season. And I think Caicedo, Dybala, one more attacker in terms of links, and one more midfielder. I think these are the players Chelsea are going to link with. And I think we'll end up with 3 more players. I don't know who, but I think we'll end up with 3 more players. Yeah, Onana is going to Manchester United, and I think it's a good deal for them. I think it's a very good deal. Many people are saying, will we have David De Gea at the club? I think if David De Gea can be option of the bench or overall as a shot stopper, I think it could be good. But again, it's the same problem. Kepa is a player that's very good with his feet, but still very doubtful with his shot stopping. David De Gea, top shot stopper, but very bad with his feet. So again, there's no benefit in signing David De Gea when we have like one keeper is like Edward Mendy, one keeper is Kepa, and there's no benefit. And we already have Gabriel Solina, a young guy who can develop. I think Chelsea need to be smart. Keep Kepa Arrizabalaga for this year. We have only one game a week. It's not like we're going for the title. And next season, when the goalkeeping market opens, sign the right player and improve. That's the way for me Chelsea need to go. And discussing on more news that I discussed in this video, people being very honest around Caicedo, I think the deal is going to get done, is going to get agreed. Because I think if Chelsea don't sign Caicedo for the work we have put in for him, I think there's going to be egg on the face of the owners and the management. So I think they'll sign Caicedo, but it's going to take a bit more time. Chelsea, for me, need to be very careful, because if you keep on taking time and Partey gets sold to Saudi, then we can have a problem on our hands. And overall, people, I'll just say again, one more thing. Caicedo fits the team like a glove, and I think Caicedo will do a very good job for us. And Conor Gallagher, for me, will be staying at Chelsea. For me, if the right offer comes in above 40 million, accepted. But otherwise, for me, he could be a useful player, and I do love him in terms of attitude he has got. So I think he will be staying at Chelsea. Pulisic, I'll always love him, but again, it's just a case of what if, and I think it's better we both part ways. Best of luck to Pulisic at AC Milan, and he can unite with Loftus-Cheek, and we can watch AC Milan watching 2 former Chelsea players. And Cucurella for me will be staying at the club until we receive 40 million. There's no news regarding goalkeepers. And right now, Chelsea want to sign Paulo Dybala, but for me, it doesn't really make a sense. For me, we have already many players in the mold of Paulo Dybala, and I want Chelsea to sign a player who scores 25, 30 goals, an experienced player. And but we are not getting linked to anyone. And for me, I do understand the price tag for Dybala is less, but you do pay the wages and everything. So we need to see in that regard. And how will Nicholas Jackson feel, Broha feel? So we need to understand what we're trying to do. And taking a last start before I end the video, De Gea's distribution was not so good. Let's see what Kepa can do for them. I think Kepa distribution is very good, to be honest, but his saves are a bit less quality than David De Gea. So that's a problem, bro. And people do go and subscribe to Sports Freak, United Road. Thank you everyone in the chat who have come in, really supported the channel, guys. Your support really means a lot. Big up to Barger, big up to Hardy, big up to Anurag, big up to Sumesh, bro, big up to Ethan, and big up to Chelsea Perspective. Do go and subscribe to Chelsea Perspective. And people who have watched it, do hit the likes. It means a lot. And do subscribe if you haven't. Thank you so much, people watching. And people who are joining now, do go and watch the video in back. I discussed a lot of Chelsea news today. Thank you, guys. Hopefully you have a great day. Thank you.